This is also a very interesting topic when you start to bring in the technological changes that we're seeing at the moment. What does it mean to be human? I think the answer to that question overlaps a lot with what does it mean to be our effective leader?
I don't think I'm a Pollyannish person, but if I see a silver lining in the dark cloud version of AI, it's that a lot of the stuff that distracts us as humans, maybe AI will pick some of that up. And so maybe we actually will have more distinction of what actually makes us human. And so that might actually be a good thing.
I have to be a spoil sport here. So I have a PhD. She looks at responsible leadership in the context of AI. And unfortunately, it doesn't make us more responsible, but we try to delegate more to the machine because we have now a save your ass technology. So yeah, I mean, it could go in a good way, but we have to do something for it.
This AI influence thing is not to be ignored. I think there is a really important thing to get ahead of there.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree with that. There are a load of skills that I learned in my early career. I didn't learn in formal education. That for me is deeply worrying. And all the meta skills that you learn, that you need to learn in order to be a good leader later, where are you going to learn them?
But I mean, I was a little bit pessimistic before, but now you came up all again with AI and that we might want to focus then more of what the humans are bringing to the table. I think still very important, seeing others. And there was a writer, Iris Murdoch, she said we should look at others with a loving gaze. And she means with that we are not projecting on others. We really try to see the other person, how she or he is. Then I, of course, come back to the system, seeing what the system does to people, I think would be still something AI at least is not interested in. And then seeing what's not there, the ethical absences, what do we have to bring to life? I think that's something that humans could do. And I think we don't learn that too much because we have this action bias rather than that we're really having a seeing face, a proper seeing face before.
The fascinating thing at the moment at this stage of AI development, we don't know. So you can easily develop competing hypotheses and make a counter argument, which makes it fascinating, but also difficult. One thing we haven't really talked about, might at some point help there, is that I don't think we know how to measure leadership development. A business school that says we all know we can measure ROI, they're lying. At this point, I think we have proxies, but they're very inaccurate. So I think that's an issue. It makes it much more difficult to change how we think about leadership if we need many different criteria to really measure. Has this been effective? Have we really developed someone? Can that person lead better, for lack of another word? And I think maybe AI can help with this, but it'll be a very biased way of things that are viable, right?
This will continue to be a real concern as long as the future of AI is being articulated and defined by tech bros who read too much science fiction. Either they're too utopian or too dystopian, and that's a singular attitude. I don't really have the words to say this maybe the right way, but if we can get the leadership profession who understands human depth, empathy, all the components that make us interact as humans, and let them voice the promise of this technology, because I don't think it's not a zero sum. We can follow and benefit from the AI instruments the way that they're being described and also enlarge our humanity around it. Can I give you an example of that? When you're in a design business, a minority of your time is spent doing the reasons why you took the job, which is having fun, talking about cool ideas and sharing those and drawing up some fun things and when building together. Most of the job is drudgery of churning through work products and taking notes from client meetings and all that stuff. So what we're trying to do is say that the 70% of your job now that's drudgery and the 30% is the part that you like. We're seeing if we can harness the tools to switch that. so that it's doing more of that 70%. And now all of a sudden your job is 30% of the drudgery stuff and 70% of the things that you uniquely wanted to do as a human creator. So that's the humanizing of the embrace of technology. This is an example of how that works in our industry.
It's also exactly my experience as a product management, product marketing person in the technology sphere. It's exactly that.
So we shouldn't shy from it. We should embrace it and then figure out how to teach people how to lead and be human and be themselves and to be their whole selves.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree, but we also really have to work that we are getting better at human at the same time. What I see now is like we're walking around with that thingy in front of our eyes. So we're not really becoming more human right now. So we have to really then work on that much more. But I agree. This is also chance to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I'm going to find something that Mark Cuban said recently, real quick, which maybe is a little bit of a shining bright component here, if you believe him. He says, quote, "Within the next 3 years, there will be so much AI, in particular AI video, people won't know if what they see or hear is real, which will lead to an explosion of face-to-face engagement events and jobs. Those that were in the office will be in the field." Call it the Milli Vanilli effect. I'm not sure I get the reference.
So if Mark Cuban is right, Joseph, this thing that we've been piloting the last couple seasons that we call warmer voices, which is a way to structure more connection and interrelationship in a way that's so simple that in theory could be replicated by anybody without a lot of training. It's the time for that type of a thing.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's been very enjoyable. I'm assuming you are all real and not your AI.
Oh, yeah.
To be present now, to be discussing this synchronously.